Dr. Ward Bond, and I've got an awesome show today because it's one of my favorite guests, and he's also one of your favorite guests too. Dr. Cass Ingram is on the set today, and it's great to have you back, Doctor.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Great to be with you.
Now I know that we're going to be talking about oregano, and we're talking about real oregano, not the pizza spice.
Right, right. Now, this is all about the wild oregano. You wouldn't think oregano was like a medicine or natural, or herbal, but in the ancient times, oregano was used medicinally. It wasn't used so much in food like we do now.
Right.
But I always tell people that when you think about wild oregano, if it's a shock to you, you didn't know that wild oregano is like a natural herbal supplement. If pizza spice was healthy, we wouldn't have to talk.
I know.
I'm so much spaghetti, pizza, marinara sauce. When I went overseas, when I was actually cured, or my whole health was changed by the oregano extract.
Right.
Okay. I'm not saying, for the sake of the government and the systems, that I have any kind of a cure from nature.
No, but it was a remedy that worked great for you.
Absolutely. I was down. I was a physician who lost my practice, couldn't function, couldn't work, couldn't write, couldn't do anything back about 1991.
Wow.
And it was the wild oregano got me back on my feet. I'm here today because of it. So when I investigated, I went overseas to check the villagers, the mountains, the people of the Mediterranean. How could this oregano do this? And what is this? And where do you get it from? And let's go to the mountains. And so I went up with the village chiefs into their warehouse. Finally, I went to a big, huge mountain chain where the oregano grows on the mountaintops. And they had big bags, huge bags. You could put like 6 humans in them, full of herbs. Or they said it was all oregano, right?
Yeah.
So I tasted the herb. Oh, it's so hot and pungent. This has to be turned into oil of oregano, because it was the oil of oregano that brought me back, right?
Right.
And it's now known as P73 oregonol, right? Mm-hmm. And then they wouldn't let me taste the other. There were 10 bags in there. They wouldn't let me taste the other 9 bags, just 1 bag. And it turns out the other 9 bags was grass. Now, not that kind of grass.
Yeah.
And it was just ground up leaves.
herb.
Yeah. So they ground up all these weeds and leaves and added it to the oregano. And that's what you get. Plus, they irradiate that, you see.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was completely different. That's why the Greeks call it Oreganos, the delight of the mountains. The ancient Romans, the Greeks, the Islamic Empire, the Hindus, the Babylonians, the Pharaohs, they were all using oregano as a medicine. And they wrote about it in their ancient texts and so on, in the tablets.
Where does this oregano actually come from?
The high mountains of the Mediterranean, you know, in the highest mountain ranges where there's not much civilization, in the deep Mediterranean. And not so much in like Spain, or, for example, now there's oregano coming from Mexico, coming from Saskatchewan or someplace, California, where they're growing it and harvesting it. So this is the wild stuff, directly from the Mediterranean mountains. And a lot of people say, well, okay, now I'd like to look into it. So I brought some different kinds of oreganos that I bought in the marketplace,
right.
Okay? And, for example, and I only use the real stuff.
Well, that's the one I like, the P73, the oregonol.
This is the stuff.
And that, see, you got the one, I see it, super strength.
Yeah, well, that's the only one I use myself. But, you know, so, you know, this is some kind of powerful stuff.
It is.
Now, if I can keep talking with that in my mouth.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah. Now, that's the wild oregano oil.
And why would someone want to buy that particular one, and what would they be using it for?
P73. Well, first of all, this is wild. Mm-hmm. It's not fake.
Yeah.
It's hand-picked. And you want to use this to blast everything out of the system.
So bacteria, viruses, fungal, what else would you be using?
Well, I can tell you about Cavell in 1918. He took sewage water, he put 1 in 1,000 oregano oil in it, and he sterilized it. I myself have done a number of Petri dish studies, and I put this in there, and it kills whatever, all right?
Yeah.
But the big thing is, like, if you're suffering, just take it. Our government doesn't allow us to really say anything, right?
Yeah.
So what I tell people is, yes, I've published books about it, but you do your own research. You'll find out that there's nothing like wild oregano oil. The big problem is that now there's imitations, fakes, counterfeits on the market.